Are your feelings mixed when meeting 5-meter mishaps? Don't fume. We'll free your mind on this Ruly Tuesday. Let's do this. Hey friends, I'm Keely Dunn of FHumpires, back with a hot take on just one hockey rule. If you're an FHumpires fan and you love your Tuesdays to be Ruly, please consider enrolling in a $3 a month FHU 3-team membership. We would really appreciate your support. We're back on the green or blue carpet in this first of 2 parts, where we explore what defenders can and cannot do when their team has had a free hit called against them. To do so, let's first walk through Rule 13.2b, procedures for taking a free hit, center pass, and putting the ball back into play after it has been outside the field. All parts of this rule apply as appropriate to a free hit, center pass, and putting the ball back into the play after it has been outside the field. Opponents must be at least 5 meters from the ball. If an opponent is within 5 meters of the ball, they must not interfere with the taking of the free hit and must not play or attempt to play the ball. If this player is not playing the ball, attempting to play the ball, or influencing play, the free hit need not be delayed. Now, a little bit of philosophy because you know that I love it. The whole point of 13.2 is that this is what makes a free hit actually free. When a player's committed a foul that has disadvantaged their opposition, we award a team penalty that gives something more than just possession of the ball back in order to balance these omnipresent scales of justice. By imposing the requirements of 13.2, we're giving time and space via the 5-meter rule. Time is provided because a player who takes a free hit has a certain amount of time before an opposing player can get to them. This time restores equity on the field because that player can advance, get ahead of an opposing player, or pick out a pass they may not have had access to before. Space is provided not only in that 5-meter zone around the location of the free hit, but if a player is caught inside that zone, they can effectively be eliminated from being an active part of this moment of play, so the space they're blocking behind them also opens up. And remember, when we've awarded a free hit, we've made the decision that blowing our whistles and imposing these restrictions was the best way to reset the scales of justice rather than just allowing play to continue, aka advantage. That means we really have to be vigilant about making sure the advantages of a free hit actually get experienced by the non-fouling team. If we don't, teams will get frustrated and also be encouraged to keep breaking the rules because the scales don't get appropriately rebalanced. Now we've got principles in mind, let's clarify the framework. Opposing players can't interfere with the taking of the free hit or try or succeed at playing the ball if they are caught within that 5-meter zone I mentioned earlier. The player taking the free hit doesn't have to wait for their space to be given. They can reclaim their time by going ahead and playing as though that player isn't there within the bounds of safety parameters. What do I mean by that? Well, thanks to physics, we know that mass can't just disappear, and that holds true on the hockey pitch as well. You may see an attacker trying to bowl straight into a hapless defender who's trying to make themselves small and making no attempt to block space or play the ball with their stick. The player in possession could actually be causing danger in this case and should be penalized accordingly. The same would go if that attacker smacks the ball with venom at a defender who can't get out of the way. On the other hand, if the situation is less dangerous but is still messy due to poor understanding of the laws of physics on the part of the player on the free hit, resetting the play may be required with some extra intervention on your part to communicate how you feel about messy free hits. Ain't nobody got time for those. What does influencing the play actually mean? When you take the context of the granting of extra time and space into account, influencing is actively taking away attractive space. When possible, there's an onus on the defender to actively get out of the way, or when it's not possible, to make themselves small or unobtrusive so as to minimize their mass and not take away too much space. Here's a good example where a defender is caught and she steps off to the side enough so she's not taking away that straight line to the goal for the ball carrier. As she's retreating, she makes no attempt to play the ball or cut off more space with her stick. She gets back the required 5 meters and makes a legal tackle at that point. So an attractive space is an advantageous lane or channel the team in possession might want to use. That could be a straight line to the goal like we just saw, or to continue dribbling in the same direction with their momentum, or passing through a lane to an open teammate. Consider that this attractive option doesn't have to be the most advantageous one, but might be choice number 2 or 3 or a little bit further down the line. We're not coaches. Decision making is not our job to enforce. But if the choice of the player is one that isn't advantageous at all and seems only to be an attempt to earn another foul or provoke you as the umpire into awarding a personal penalty, remember that the manufactured foul was removed from the rulebook years ago. So to deal with this silliness, you're going to rely on the golden rule of 12.1 and just not award a foul because the team hasn't been disadvantaged by the other team breaking the rules. They've been disadvantaged by their own silliness. Or it could be dangerous, as I mentioned earlier. Here's a scenario where a player actively moves inside the 5-meter zone and then cuts off an attractive passing lane from the player taking the free hit, who is looking for an open teammate. This is a deliberate breakdown of play, and depending on what level you're umpiring at, you have a few different options on your control ladder to send the message that you will not be seeing that again. Things get a lot more challenging when there's more than one defender in the frame. You may be confronted with one player who is caught within 5 meters and must not interfere until the ball has traveled 5, but then another defender who is 5 meters or more away from the taking of the free hit, who can close and attempt to play the ball immediately after the free hit is taken. The key is to widen your vision as soon as you blow the foul, take an inventory of which players are okay and which are not, and use your voice to communicate precisely who is not okay. Once you've said something like, "Number 2, step back," or "Number 2, you're not 5, and "Number 2 then steps in too soon," you've got an intervention on your hands. If somebody other than number 2 gets to the ball quickly, you know that they're fine, and you will also communicate that to the players. Did our foray into free hit melees mollify your fears? Force out your favor and mash the like button, and measure your fancy in the comments below. Then, fly to FHU3T.com and merge yourself into the FHumpires Green 3rd Team membership for only $3 a month. We would fancy it muchly. Ciao for now.